So, okay, the third one was this one. This the Stop the Movie for the Apache.
Okay. That
I'm gonna feature, and I'm gonna just so you know, in the slideshow is gonna be a little like clip.
Okay.
From the movie.
Good.
You know. So if you can just even explain
the movie Fort Apache, the Bronx. Yeah. Okay, the producers came to my grandmother back in 1980, maybe early 79, 80.
Okay.
They wanted to rent some of the space from her. My mother had an organization called United Bronx Parents at the time.
Okay.
So we had a daycare center, a big space, and a few buildings and stuff like that. And they gave her the script, and listen, we're going to be filming this movie. Paul Newman's going to be in it, Pam Grier, this, that, and the other. We'd like to, use your daycare center where people can come and eat in between takes and this, that,
okay.
Because my grandmother was a big community figure in the Bronx at that time.
Gotcha.
Very, very well known, very politically active. And first thing out of her mouth is, okay, how many of my people are you going to employ? No problem, we'll employ, whatever, 100 people as extras, this thing, other. Can we see the script? That's where they fucked up. My grandmother read the script.
Which, for those who don't know, which many don't know, so what is the, if you could do a quick 20-second, what is the movie? What is the movie about?
The movie is about two cops in the Bronx, one older cop, one younger cop, and, one's near retirement, one's near that. But every black and Hispanic character in the movie is either a prostitute, a pimp, a whore, a drug dealer, killer, this, that, and the other.
Right.
So, once that was found out, and we had our hands on the script, you had people like Richie Perez, who grew up with the Young Lords, formed together this group called CAFA. CAFA, and CAFA stands for Committee Against Fort Apache, which included, Felipe Luciano, Bronx politicians, my grandmother, and we demonstrated against the movie Fort Apache, the Bronx. We went to all their locations,
really?
Demonstrated, made noise, this, that, and the other. And if you look at the movie today, in the beginning of the movie, there is a disclaimer that says, this movie does not portray the beautiful people of the Bronx as pimps, this, that, and the other. We mean no harm. And that was a huge, huge win for us.
Because at the time, again, we're talking about the Bronx, this was after the sort of the benign neglect comment, so the Bronx became a bit of a poster for just the worst.
The worst of worst.
Yeah.
The worst of worst. I mean, the Bronx at that time was compared to bombed out Berlin during World War II.
Was that Carter who said that? Or
I'm not sure it was
or
somebody who said it, this, that, and the other. All I know, Hollywood used to come to the Bronx. Whenever they made movies about World War II or this, that, and the other, the scene was in the Bronx because that was the closest they can get.
Right.
To, looking like bombed out Berlin and stuff.
So, and this was all, now the bombing was, and then you had these destroyed buildings from, was it the blackout that never got rebuilt? Or was it
even before that? I mean, because,
Yeah, tell me.
You had the recessions going on at the time.
Okay.
When Governor Carey told the Bronx, fuck you, we're not helping you.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other. But, you had laws in places where the landlords would burn out the buildings and collect $1 million insurance policies on these properties. Which, could have been the biggest crime against humanity today. Hundreds and thousands of people were displaced, killed, this, that, and the other during the 70s and early 80s when these fires were going on. And it's been documented, that these fires were deliberately set to collect insurance money.
Yeah. What did my dad and my uncle used to call, what they were like, I guess because a lot of the landlords were Jewish, was it like a Jewish fire, or what they used to call it, some sort of like...
The Bronx in the 40s and 50s, was all Jewish.
Yeah.
We migrated when we came from Puerto Rico or this, that, and the other. We came to the Lower East Side and migrated uptown. you know, a lot of the buildings in the Bronx today from that era still have, you know, the little Jewish symbols on the doors and this, that, and the other.
And is your family from? Were you born in the Bronx?
No, born in the Bronx. I'm second generation. My grandmother was born in Puerto Rico. Came here in the 40s.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm a second generation, I guess, Puerto Rican.
Yeah. Well,
my
that's a
mother was
whole
born
nother.
here.
Yeah.
My mother was born here.
Okay, so yeah, you're second.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm sorry. So you said the buildings they'll have like a
yeah.
menorah
So you know the
like
menorahs and all of that stuff because the Bronx was predominantly Jewish.
Right.
Predominantly Jewish.
So was it that so the Puerto Ricans and blacks come in here?
We come in, we push them out. It's almost like a reverse gentrification, or I guess you can call it gentrification against the Jews or the Italians that were there before us. But, you know, the majority of the property is still owned by Jewish people.
Right.
Jewish landlords, Italian landlords. During the 70s when, you know, everything's, you know, the recession, the last recorded recession, you know, you have all these fires now. And you have all these landlords collecting an insurance policy.
Right.
So that's, you know, that's when they said the Bronx was burning. I call it the Bronx was burnt already.
Yeah.
The Bronx was burning.
Yeah.
Co-op City, today, yeah, it was predominantly black and Puerto Rican. But Co-op City was built for the Jewish people that got pushed out.
Also a Robert Moses project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was and then so they got pushed up to Co-op City. Then
we pushed them out of there too.
Now we're on it. I guess then they were at
Riverdale or down to Florida.
Yeah, or just out of the city completely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to get into. Was this idea? The idea.